right, I'm so excited to have you all here for this panel of our amazing panelists. Can I get a loud cheer for that? Awesome. Just some housekeeping. The breakout session is right after this, so if you haven't signed up, once this is over, just go ahead and sign up and head right to breakout, okay? All right, I'm Tammy. I will be leading the panel. I also am the interview for speakers, so if you saw speakers up here this conference and you're like, hey, I could do that, talk to me. All right. Scott, tell us what you do and why you do it.
So I do a lot of things, but the number one thing I do is lead generate. So I still run a mortgage business, much like Jen, which I hate every day, but that's okay. We do about $100 million in business, which is kind of like the minimum entry for Big Boy Mark. I also run a coaching program. Stand up. I got to stand up. Okay. Woo! There we go, standing up. Then we also run a podcast, but basically what it boils down to is I lead generate. I've got great team members that do all of the stuff for building the things, and it's just my job to go get business.
Thank you. Cynthia, tell us what you do and why you do it.
Hi, everybody. My name is Cynthia Kahi, and I am a mom, an entrepreneur, an author, and a restaurant owner. And one of my main passions in the entrepreneur journey is finding you. So many times we go through life just reacting. I have written a book called You Can Do Hard Things, and I'm now teaching my team in the restaurant industry to be leaders so that they can do the hard things.
Awesome. All right. Jake, tell us what you do and why you do it.
All right, I also do a handful of things, but I would say I create, educate, and invest, create content, invest in cryptocurrency, and also educate in NFTs. I live out here in Las Vegas, so the biggest goal that we have is bringing mainstream adoption of crypto and NFTs to Las Vegas.
Thank you. Trista, tell us about you, what you do and why you do it.
Hi, everyone. My name is Trista Harrison, and I'm a wife, a mom. I've been in the military for almost 20 years now, and thank you. And I am a women's mind and body transformation coach. And my purpose is to empower women to unveil her inner beauty and help her become the woman she's always dreamed of by creating a healthy lifestyle that she is truly obsessed with. And I believe that when you love yourself on the inside, you can showcase that beauty on the outside through your health and fitness journey.
Thank you. You guys are beautiful. We're so happy. All right, Scott, tell us what makes you NextGen. What makes you new?
Yes, I'll stand up. Thank you.
Please stand up.
Good moderator back there. I would say NextGen is just thinking past the first level of what we're doing in business, right? Like I do mortgages. Yeah, that's cool, I guess, whatever, it pays the bills. But at the end of the day, what we're really doing is building generational wealth. And we have a lot of problems in this country where there's a certain number of people that have a lot of wealth and a bunch of people that don't. And usually the first step on that journey is home ownership. So I really believe like you can drive around any neighborhood in America and then you can tell the areas where people rent and you can tell the areas where people own. And so we just want to get more people into that ownership bucket. And I think thinking past that like first level, maybe it's something that comes with like age and a double chin, but I like to think that it comes with finding more purpose. So.
Thank you. Cynthia, what makes you NextGen?
Well, it's funny. I thought about this question quite a bit, but I'm a little bit of old school. I'm Italian. I've got good roots, but I bring that to the next gen because I feel like the next gen doesn't have those roots sometimes. And so my mission with You Can Do Hard Things is finding you. It is a passion that I have learned so many people don't take the time to learn themselves. So this next generation, being behind the screen all of the time, getting to know you.
Awesome. Thank you. Jake, what makes you NextGen?
Yeah, I've actually been through this question before. My first business was actually called NextGen Pickers, which was an antique store. So we were taking the antiquated approach of an antique store and applying the modern world to it with QR codes and storytelling and some other new technologies. Now, as I'm moving into the world of crypto, we're trying to bring what's called Web 2 into Web 3. And explaining this takes a lot of effort, and sometimes being next gen isn't enough. So we now settle into this modern generation, and eventually we'll get there. So just being next gen is about bringing everyone into this world and allowing all kinds of utility.
Thank you, thank you. Trista, what makes you next gen?
What makes me next gen is, well, I'm going to start with talking about the bridging the gap between generational health. And I've watched my mom struggle with her health and fitness journey for as long as I can remember. I was headed down that same route, trying extreme fad diets and so on. So my goal is to bridge the gap with that education piece, but also being in the military. Like I said yesterday, we're kind of a different breed of people, right? We go to basic training, we meet, we get in these situations where we create these bonds, and they are unbreakable, these unshakable, unbreakable bonds. And how I evolved my personal training to online one-on-one coaching is creating a tribe and creating an army for my clients to have that unshakable, unbreakable bond with each other, so they're on the same mission and they have the support of a community. So that's what makes me next gen.
Thank you. So happy to have you all here. All right, Scott, you ready for this?
Go.
Please stand up.
I will.
I'm not telling you the question until you stand up.
Okay.
Who has been your greatest mentor in helping you level up and get to where you are at now?
Yeah, this is kind of a weird answer to this question, and it's Abraham Lincoln, of all people.
Okay.
So I'm kind of like a history nut, and I've read probably 5,000 pages on Abraham Lincoln, and I don't know if this quote was actually even his, but it's been attributed to him. And he talked a lot about wherever you're at in life, you always have to have kind of a brotherly competitor, so somebody who's on your level. You have to have a mentor that you seek out proactively, and that person will probably change many times during your life. And then no matter where you are, try to teach somebody that's like a couple of steps behind you. And that resonated probably when I was 28, 29, during my first marriage. Probably a sign that if you're reading a 700-page Abraham Lincoln book on your honeymoon, the marriage isn't going to last. So, but I got some great wisdom out of Abraham Lincoln, and that kind of stuck. So, yeah, I'd have to say Abe Lincoln.
Awesome. I love him too, and I'm on my fourth, so we're right in there. All right, Cynthia, who has been your greatest mentor in helping you level up and get you to where you are?
This is a really great question. I never even had a mentor until 2 years ago. And so this is one of the reasons why I wrote my book. It's because it was so eye-opening to me, and it was such a passion that I didn't know about. So my new mission is to tell everybody that yes, you can. And so the mentor is Grant Cardone. I don't know if anybody knows him. Does anybody know him? Yeah? Okay. I was just curious. Sometimes I have my backpack on and people are like, 10X, what's that? And so 10X, I went to a seminar like this and I bought it for myself. And I said, I need something that's going to get me to the next level. I had bought my restaurant and I had done everything I possibly could. And I said, what's next? Where am I going? And so I saw something on YouTube, and it was Grant Cardone. And then when I went, there was something that he said that really sparked me, and I said, yes, I can. He said, and this is Grant Cardone saying this, and if you know him, he's got the accent, and he's a little guy, but he's very mighty. And he says, if I can do it, you can do it. And I said, of course I can. I just didn't know how. So I got into his ecosystem, and so he has really given me the tools to say, yes, I can, and do 10X for everything, my life, my love, my happiness, my business. And that was my best and newest mentor. So,
Thank you. I love that. Jake, who has been your greatest mentor to help you level up and get you to where you are?
Yeah. So my greatest mentor I've actually never met. Growing up, I was an only child, so I was just continually outgrowing my friend circles and kind of being very curious and being multidisciplinary. So over the last 8 years, I would say my mentor was Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan's a very famous podcaster who is multidisciplinary, who is open to free speech, open to exploring various kind of ideas, and he's open to not being the smartest person in the room. And to me, that's one of the greatest mentors that could be out there, showing that you may not always be the best at anything, but as long as you continually pursue it, you will eventually get to the highest degree possible.
Thank you. Trista?
This is a great question. I've had a lot of great mentors, especially being in the military. I've seen a lot of good and a lot of bad. But I would say I joined the military at 17, super young, and I climbed the ranks really fast, and I was always put in a leadership position. So my first sergeant she became a really good friend of mine and was my first biggest mentor. So she believed in me when I didn't. I was a little E5, had joined this company, drill sergeant company. Don't know if you guys know what those are, but they're big, mean, like they're in your face, right? And she's like, "You're gonna go to drill sergeant school." I said, "Hell no." That is the last thing that I would ever do in my life. And if you guys know me, I'm pretty shy, very timid. And she saw something in me that I didn't. And I think that's super powerful in leaders, is to inspire that and bring that out of you, like to just pluck and find out what your strong points are, right? And really push you to step into that person. So she signed me up for drill sergeant school, and I was like, she's like, when are you available? And she just plugged me into dates and like sent me off to school. I was the only reservist, female, and 22 years old going through drill sergeant school.
Woo!
So, and I left there top of the class too. So it was something I had no dream or desire to do, and she pushed me to step out of my comfort zone and just push me to do something and get out of my own head.
Oh, I love that. We'll have to do some push-ups sometime. Push up, push off. All right, Scott, please stand up.
Sorry.
What is the biggest problem in your industry, and what is your solution?
The biggest problem in our industry is people thinking that there's a widget or a silver bullet to solve problems. And I like to just do this little exercise. If you have a husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, booty call, could you stand up? Just stand up real quick. Just stand up real quick. Husband, wife, significant other, somebody you're having sex with. All right. If you're not currently standing, see me after hours for other coaching. Now, if that person knows what you do for a living, stay standing. If that person knows what you do for a living, stay standing. No, the person you're having sex with. If they know what you're doing for a living. All right. If that person has given you a referral in the last 30 days, stay standing. If the person you're married to has given you a referral in the last 30 days for your business, this is much better than the average room. You guys can sit down. I've given this talk to like 1,500, 2,000 realtors and mortgage professionals, and most of them sit down. Like 99% sit down. And I'm like, guys, you're here like trying to buy some $99 Instagram influencer program or some $20,000 private coaching, and you don't even get referrals from the person you have sex with. So if you're not telling a story well enough to like our inner circle to get referrals from them, then like you don't need to spend all this money on other stuff, right? And I'd say that's the biggest problem facing our business, is that a lot of people don't get referrals from the closest people in their circle, and they try to look for it all externally instead of really looking in their sphere. So you guys are like way above normal batting average, but in my industry, they suck.
Wow. All right. Thank you for that. All right. Cynthia, what is the biggest problem in your industry, and what is your solution?
So the restaurant industry is twofold. It's service and it's quality, right? So right now, if anybody knows the current state of anything in California, we do not have employees. Everybody is looking for employees. They want to get the easy way. Nobody really wants to work. And in the restaurant industry, we have the younger generation, 16, 17, 18. It's the starter job. It's that building block. So I believe the solution is to teach them that they are leaders. Once that they come into the ecosystem, and for everything that I've learned, when we build the leaders, then they can go out and lead in other parts of their life. Once we know we're a leader, which is also something that I learned very late in my life, and it is so powerful, I believe it is a dying breed. And so it's part of my mission to help those younger kids learn that they are leaders.
Thank you. Wow. Jake, do you want me to
Oh,
repeat
boy.
the question?
Oh,
You
this
got it.
this is something that I could talk about for hours. Crypto is full of scams, and education is probably the two biggest barriers. And both of these kind of go hand in hand. When it comes to crypto, there's there's an educational barrier from many different degrees, from ape pictures selling for millions of dollars, which makes no sense, to people yelling moons and Lambos. And it could be quite intimidating, and it just pushes a lot of people away to where they don't even want to be educated about it. So for myself, I've tackled this through Native Research, which is one of my consultation firms, through creating YouTube content, tweets, podcasts, going and speaking to rooms like this to find where in crypto might interest you. The new financial system is applicable to everybody's business, and I think when you can kind of present this in the right way, then it'll migrate more people to being the sovereign individual that everyone can be with their business.
Thank you. Wow, that's great. Do you need the question
No, I
repeated?
got the question. So being in the health and fitness industry, I'm sure you can imagine a lot of people, when they want to lose weight, want to lose it fast, kind of like you said, like we want results really, really fast. So I would say one of the number one problems in our industry is wanting that instant gratification and wanting to lose weight at an extremely quick rate, which is going to ruin your body. And I mean, I've been there, I've done it. Like I said, my mom struggled. I watched her struggle with her weight alone. I started down her path. I did bodybuilding competitions, lost and gained 30 and 40 pounds, not like Drew back there, but in an unhealthy way. And tried HCG, did everything. So I really want to educate, and I focus on women because I love women. I'm a woman myself, so that's my ideal client. But I really also focus on helping moms. So moms and women put themselves last all of the time. They're focusing on their children. They're focusing on the household. They're focusing on being the perfect wife. And when you really start doing things for yourself and loving yourself, the weight loss comes and the outside comes. So that is how I help bridge those gaps, is through education and through loving yourself.
Thank you. All right, everyone, I need you to pull out your cell phones because I am going to go through and show you how to connect with all these lovely people. So can I pull up the slide, please? Scott.
Stood up that time.
You're getting it. You could write a book, How to Get Referrals from People You Sleep With.
There you go.
How do people contact you?
Just come find me. I'll give you a copy of my book, and we'll get in touch on Instagram, which apparently I need to rework the whole thing. I already got my consult on that. But, yeah, just come find me. My phone number is in the book, and we'll get in touch.
All right, so here he is on Instagram and Facebook. We'll give you a few.
Yeah, my kids are so cute.
Awesome. All right, Cynthia, please stand up. How can we contact you?
So this is my personal Facebook page. There's Instagram. Instagram has the milkshake link there. It's got all the things. I have quite a few things, including a Facebook group called You, Affirmations, and Positive Mindset. Of course, I'm on LinkedIn. I am on TikTok. My kids don't like it, but I'm on there. And everything is at my name, at cynthiakahi.com. And you can also get copies of my book. I have a free digital download. I did bring some today for the breakout session. We're going to go over 9 steps to building a better you.
Woo!
Oh, the restaurant link is also in the milkshake. It's not there. Northern California, Santa Rosa.
Somebody needs to follow you back.
All right, Jake, how can we contact you?
Yeah, so I'm easy. Just Jake Gallen, JakeGallen. JakeGallen.com has all of my information. Jake Gallen podcast. We talk specifically about NFTs and the emerging crypto economy in Las Vegas. YouTube channel, Jake Gallen, same thing, a little bit more curated. And then Twitter, for the Twitter fans, crypto's run through Twitter. So if you want to really dive down the rabbit hole, then Jake Gallen on Twitter is the easiest way.
Thank you. Interest.
All right, this is my personal Facebook page and my Instagram. So if you follow me, please send me a message so I can continue to connect with you and follow you back. What you're gonna find on my pages is I post a lot about my daughter. She is my everything. She's just the cutest thing. So if you wanna see lots of my daughter, my puppies, my husband, and educational, self-love, motivational quotes, those kind of things, and of course some awesome tips and tricks on how to lose weight in a healthy way.
Thank you. All right, so go ahead and remember to message them so that you guys can all keep in touch. Do we have time for questions? My favorite part. Open audience questions. Who has a question? Who's dying to ask? Go ahead.
Hey, my name is Arjun. Quick question for, is it Joel? Jake. What is, how are you really getting involved in the crypto space in terms of, you said educating people, making sure that they're not getting involved in scams and all that stuff, which usually happens when there's a new industry and people prey on that. How are you specifically, from a tactic perspective, getting involved? And we should also chat afterwards. I just DM'd you.
Yeah, so it's quite evolved, and just for a little background, up until about a year ago, I've been in crypto for 5 years, but up until a year ago, I had a podcast in Vegas called The Guest List, which was a top show. It was based off of entrepreneurs. So I built a large social brand within the city. And then I recently, in the last 6 months, converted all of my channels into crypto, onboarding everybody in the city of Las Vegas, from the city of Vegas, gaming control board, private entities, and have private sessions with them. And then within crypto, I cover this space, which is going to sound really weird. It's called historical NFTs, which is digital antiquities, which I mentioned earlier was my first business was an antique store, and that was my giant aha moment for NFTs. And whoever comes into the breakout afterwards will help find what your niche is within Web3, because it really permeates through every single sector and every single discipline that exists on the planet. So those are my two fine ones, but what I've realized is that as crypto is so intimidating, some people just want to latch onto somebody that they trust and that they know, and then you can have one-on-one conversations or larger conversations to help them feel more comfortable jumping into this weird new world of memes and investing in Lambos and all this stuff.
Thank you, thank you. Any other questions? There were more hands earlier.
Come on.
Yeah, for who?
What's your favorite kind of food outside your restaurant?
Outside of my restaurant, but we have the best food. Italian. My grandma taught us well, and I actually have a lot of homemade food in the restaurant. We make our lasagna, we make our meatballs, we make all of our sauces, so it sticks with it. But it's home cooking, you know, Italian food.
Did you grow up doing that, or did you learn it later?
Nope, I grew up doing that. I like to bake. I made a pie for Easter, an apple pie. Anybody like apple pie?
I'm going to ask you this. Can you share with us what you're trying to do with your knuckleball and explain what the knuckleball is so that everyone here can be a bird dog for you?
Oh, thank you. I love that. I appreciate that too. So at the restaurant, the one thing that makes us different, one of the things that we concentrate on in the 10X community is what makes you different, what makes you different. So the knuckleball is our pizza dough stuffed with mozzarella cheese and bacon. And it is ooey gooey goodness. Look at all those ooh, ah. Now it's not fit, so I'm sorry about that. It's not gonna be, but it's comfort food, right? It's comfort food, and it's about the America's all-time favorite pastime. It's a knuckleball. So they come in an order of 9. and I am looking to bring it to market. So I have a consultant, and they will be in stores. And then we talked to, where's Tiff? Is she around here? She gave me a great idea for the ghost kitchen. I didn't even know what a ghost kitchen was. So that's another thing, you know. I just want to encourage everybody. I've been to a lot of seminars, and now that I'm in this seat instead of that seat, sometimes learn the people that are in the room, because you never know who you're sitting next to. Jen and I met at Secret Knock, which is an amazing event, but it just gets it out there, and then you can learn from other people. You never know who you're sitting next to, right? So thank you for that. I really appreciate it. So the knuckleball will be in freezers and maybe closer by delivery, because DoorDash is everywhere, and I love that idea. So, and I got that idea here, so that's amazing. So thank you.
Thank you. Melissa, are we good? More questions? All right. Don't make me come out there, people.
So Scott, right?
Yep.
So you do a lot of interesting stuff. I mean, you're kind of in a lot of different industries. Is your podcast specific to mortgage lending, or do you go
No.
across the board? Okay.
My podcast has actually destroyed many referral sources because my podcast started out like I smoke a lot of cigars, and I would just be at the cigar lounge for like 3 hours smoking a cigar and talk to somebody who's like way above my pay grade because we just happened to be at the same cigar space. And I'm like, God, I wish I had that recorded. And so we started the podcast about 70 episodes ago, and it goes like pretty hard right, like libertarian, and then pretty hard left progressive, and then I've pissed off half my referral sources because they've seen clips that they disagree with. So I'm thinking about rebranding that. But it's just for fun. I mean, I've probably spent $20,000 doing it for fun because it's for fun. And it's probably cost me $200,000 in referral sources, but that's okay. Live and learn. And yeah, it's just, podcast is just for fun.
Cool. Thanks.
It's called On the Edge.
Yeah, it's called On the Edge Podcast.
Any other questions?
You guys just know everything about NFTs and lead generation and health and fitness and running a restaurant. You guys are the most diverse audience ever.
Okay, Scott, so I do have a question because my husband is dying to ask you this and he's too shy. Just kidding, he's really not. I'm just throwing him under the bus because he's not paying attention to me. How does one get started with knowing whether or not they're in the space to have a lead generation funnel or whatever it is that you do within their business?
What do you do for a living?
So I'm in the direct sales space, branded to my own. So I help people bridge the gap between how they want to feel in their wardrobe and how they want to feel on the outside in regards to their confidence.
Yeah, this is really interesting because I'm sure a lot of your stuff is visual. And I was actually talking about this with Minky and Travis, that I'm kind of like the anti-Minky and Travis, because when I give keynote speeches, I talk a lot about how people are doing a lot of marketing and brand awareness, which is really great for people to see your shit. But if you actually don't do the lead generation and call them and ask them for the business, then like what was really the point, right? So, you know, the thing that I actually loved about Minky is like you look at her from the outside in and you're like, oh, pretty face, cool Instagram pictures, like clearly manipulated a little bit to make her eyes look more blue. But then when it was time to make the sale, she called me and she's like, hey, you and I need to get on a Zoom right now. I got to talk to you for 15 minutes and tell you why you're going to give me $1,500. And I just had so much respect for her because it wasn't just showing and it wasn't just telling, as it was just marketing and brand awareness. It's like, no, she picked up the phone and there was lead generation. And so I think for you, whatever it is you're doing to get the word out there and the message out there, at some point you got to cross over to lead generation and be like, all right, I got 13 people to like my picture of the fashion thing that I just put up. I have to call those 13 people and get them to engage with me and my product, or it's just wasted time putting the picture up there. So I would say like immediately, once you have one person interacting with your marketing or your brand awareness or whatever kitschy stuff you're putting out there, then you've got to pick up the phone, send the DM, you know, make the email interaction so that you can start to actually lead gen and make a sale.
So I just have Minky wear my accessories.
For sure.
That's how I lead generate.
Brand awareness.
And there's a number of women in this room that referral me well.
All right. One last question. All. Yes.
Trista.
Hey, Bree.
So I was wondering, like, we're both coaches. So what is something that, you know, from expanding and growing your business, what would you tell your younger self, like as you're starting out with your coaching business? Something that you were like, oh, I wish I would have known that so I could avoid that hurdle. Like, I want to learn from a mistake that you made.
That's a great question. I'm gonna stand up. Why didn't you guys stand? No, that's a really good question, and my business has been evolving from personal training to, you know, I finally broke into the online space and one-on-one group coaching and so on. But I would say building a team first, like having that team. I tried to do everything on my own, and when I finally I'm telling you, I brought on my first team member last April. It's been 1 year. I'm a team of 5 now. 5 in just 8 months. Well, so it was such a huge challenge bringing her on and giving her that trust and letting her coach my clients and just letting her be a part of the company. I have some trust issues. I'm a perfectionist. I want to do everything by myself. So I think that would be the number one thing. The second I brought her on, within 3 weeks, we hosted our first event, hosted a second event, we're hosting a retreat. It's like I was able to over double my income within a month of bringing her on. And then it's just been like wildfire since. So making that investment in my business to hire was probably the advice I would give my younger self. Hire faster.
Thank you, everyone. Please stand up and give these amazing panelists a round of applause. Thank you, thank you.